Hello, everybody. Mrs. Germany here, and we are talking today about solving multi-step equations. And because there are multiple steps, we're actually going to use a decision chart to help us understand the order in which we do these. Now, the way the decision chart works is you start at the top, and it's a series of yes, no questions. If you answer yes, you always go to the left. If you answer no, you go to the right or go down. So we're going to solve this equation. 6 times in parentheses x minus 2 equals negative 36. So we're going to start with question number 1. Are there fractions or decimals to be removed? Well, I look at this and nope, no fractions, no decimals. So I would answer no, coming over to the right, and I go down. Now here's my next question. Does the distributive property need to be used? Now remember, distributive property means that I have a number immediately next to parentheses. As we can see here, yes, this one does have distributive property. So since I have yes, I have distributive property, I'm going to come over to the left and notice what it tells me. Distribute, be sure to check for negatives. So I want to watch for negatives as I do this distribution. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at, do I have negatives? Well, sure enough, I do have right there subtracted 2 or negative 2, all right? So I want to make sure I keep aware of that. The other thing some of you still like to do, and this is totally okay, and especially as we get into multi-step equations, is to draw that line that separates the two sides of the equal sign. All right, so now distribution means I take what's outside parentheses and I multiply it by each part inside parentheses. So 6 times x and 6 times my negative 2. Now when I do that multiplication, 6 times x is simply going to give me 6x. 6 times the negative 2, or subtracted 2, is going to subtract 12. And that just equals the negative 36. That negative 36 just comes straight down because it wasn't affected by distribution. All right, so I just did my distribution. Now I'm going to come over to the next question. See the then. So are there like terms on the same side of the equal sign? All right, so if I have like terms, this is the only side that has two terms, but one has a variable, one does not. They are not like terms, so I would answer this one by saying no. All right, so now I come down to the next one. Are there variables on both sides of the equal sign? Okay, so are there variables on both sides? Well, there's a variable x, but on the other side, nope, that's a constant of negative 36. So that answer there is again no. All right, so come to the next question. Are there constants on both sides of the equal sign? Constants on both sides, yep, I have a subtracted or a negative 12 and I have a negative 36. So I do have constants. And hopefully you can see this is just turned into a two-step equation. So I do have constants, so I'm going to go down and over here. It says add or subtract to move the constant away from the variable. And the reason it says add or subtract is we always use inverse operation. So since that 12 is subtracted, I am going to add 12 to both sides of my equal sign. Now, again, the 12s will cancel that are on the same side. And now I'm going to bring down the 6x on the left. And it's going to equal now negative 36 plus 12. My signs are different, so I subtract, which is 24, and keep the sign of the larger number, which 36 is bigger, so to keep the negative, and it becomes negative 24. All right, so there I did my constant. Last question, is there a coefficient with the variable? Remember, coefficients are numbers immediately next to the variable. And yeah, I have a 6, so it says multiply or divide to solve for the variable. Okay, so in this case, 6 times x, that's multiplication. So the inverse operation is going to be division. So I'm divide by 6, and what I do on one side, again, I always have to do on the other. On the left, those 6's are going to cancel, leaving me with just my x. And on the right-hand side, I have negative 24 divided by 6. Well, in multiplying and dividing, when the signs are different, the answer is negative. So that's going to be a negative. 24 divided by 6 is 4. So my answer is x equals -4.